Yeah.
Welcome to the Poundsville Family Blog, where JP and I share our secrets on how we strengthened our relationship / our marriage. My name is Yanori Poundsville.
And I'm JP, her trusted sidekick, aka her husband,
the Bay.
And today we're going to be talking about a question that we got from one of our viewers.
Yes.
Ilbert, one of our good friends. He had a question about how do we deal with the differences between our cultures.
Yes.
Yanori is originally from Honduras,
Mm-hmm.
and I am originally from Flint, Michigan. So as you can imagine, a little bit different culturally.
Mm-hmm. And it's for me, being from Honduras, I'm part of the Garifuna culture, Garifuna ethnic group in Honduras, and essentially just means Black people that speak Spanish because of where we were in the country. And today we're going to focus on three differences in our relationship. One, it's music. Two, is food. And three are our traditions. So, Babe, do you want to get started with food or
Sure,
music?
yeah. Growing up, the type of foods that we usually ate were typical soul food dishes. So fried chicken, macaroni, green beans, typical foods that you eat during Thanksgiving or Christmas, turkey, other pork items, lots of pork. Some of my family ate a lot of even the more southern dishes, the ham hocks, chitlins, things like that. I didn't particularly eat those things, but that was pretty much what we ate. And it makes sense because a lot of my grandparents, they all moved to the north, to Michigan from the south. So it makes sense. What about your family, babe? What kind of food did you eat growing up?
Well, growing up in Honduras, we eat a lot of fresh food. So lots of rice. I know I say fresh and I say rice. That doesn't even go together. But lots of white rice, particularly. Lots of seafood. I was raised by the beach, so we used to catch
I was not raised by the beach.
Fresh fish and lots of seafood. We used to raise our own chickens and pigs, so my family did lots of pork and they ate chickens as well. Lots of plantains, green bananas, rice and beans. We make flour tortillas. Very, very, everything is with your hands. Very non-processed, very from scratch. So we ate, I think looking back now, we ate pretty healthy-ish. Still fried lots of the food too, but everything was very fresh. Very, very, you catch it, you raise it, you make it. Very, very good. I don't eat southern food, or I learned about that when I moved here. So not really good at mac and cheese and any other stuff. I don't even eat cheese, but that's that. Next, let's talk about music.
Music.
Growing up, listened to a lot of bachata, merengue, lots of salsa. For my culture, for the Garifuna culture, we have our own genre of music. It's called punta, so listen to lots of that too. And I can't with this guy. Now I listen to rap and hip hop, and we listen to Michael Jackson too. Growing up, because he's everywhere.
Michael Jackson was everywhere.
What about you?
Growing up in my house, we heard a lot of R&B. So you got your Nita Baker, your Luther Vandross. My aunts and uncles listened to things like the Isleys, the OJs. My granddad was big on blues. He had all his blues tapes that he used to listen to. Me myself, I listened to a lot of R&B and rap growing up. My mom brought me my first CD was Master P, The Last Dawn, and DMX, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. So some real hip hop.
Yeah, I listen more to rap now than I ever thought I ever would listen to rap in my life, but it's because Americans.
And I listened to a lot of the music that she listened to growing up, especially salsa, merengue. When I moved to New York for undergrad, for one of my co-ops, that's when I was exposed and my mind was blown by the music. I was like, what this dance everybody's doing? Teach me how to do it. So I do love the music too.
Yeah, so music is definitely a place that it's different, but we find our common ground. And third, let's talk a little bit about traditions. I think for me, being a Garifuna woman from Honduras, it's really, there are some key differences for us. I think with the Latin American influence, we celebrate for Christmas, for example. We don't do the 25th. We do Noche Buena on the 24th. So Christmas is just another day to me and to my family. And for Thanksgiving, we don't do Thanksgiving because that's not a thing outside of the United States. So we don't do that either. We don't do Easter. That's also not a thing anywhere else outside the U.S.
You sure about that one?
We do Holy Week, like
so didn't Jesus rose?
I mean, sure. we don't do egg hunting, like the eggs.
You mean the fake part of Easter?
Yeah, that stuff we don't do. We don't do that
industry
stuff.
made.
No,
you go out and spend money.
Yeah, we don't do that part.
Gotcha. That part.
So many of those holidays, it's something that I didn't grow up doing. I didn't grow up being.
We had something similar in my family, where on Christmas Eve we would all get together with my dad's side of the family, and my grandma had this game she used to play where we had to go get prizes from the middle of this big pot, and if you pulled your card, you got to pick a present, but once the presents ran out, you got to steal them from everybody. So very ruthless, very little Hunger Game-ish. My dad's, or also my mom's side of the family, we had a tradition where around the Christmas time would be all the family, so this would be not only just your immediate family, but your extended family. So we would have about 100 different family members in the church basement for Christmas. So, yeah.
That's cool. What surprised you from my culture?
One of the things that surprised me about your culture were how spiritual your family were with your ancestors. I know that you guys do a lot of different spiritual outreach to ancestors. You present them with food. You do different ceremonies to convey your feelings to your ancestors. So that was different for me initially, but I was always open to seeing what it was like because I wanted to get to know you, and I wanted to get to know what made you. And so being around you and your family was a really good way to see, all right, these are the things that my wives value, and by seeing the activities around us, I could see why she valued those things.
Even though it wasn't his wife then. But yes, that's great.
Yeah, that was all in the planning.
That's pretty awesome. Thank you for that. First time you tell me that. I think for me, looking at the cultures, our differences in culture, the one thing that surprised me, I would say, is just the expectation of being like a child, like what happens when you grow up. Like for me, it's I'm expected to help my parents. I'm expected to be like that support for them. Now that they raised me and I'm successful, whatever that means, they think I am. I'm supposed to they're supposed to reap the benefits of the work they put in. And that's something that that's not really how it is with you, or at least not in your family. So for me, that was something that I felt like we had to discuss, because it kind of became an issue at certain points, because you would bring it up to me and say, hey, like, why is that? Why are you expected to solve those problems? And I think that was very surprising.
I think in your culture, it's more of expected that the children would do that. In my culture, it's more of, there was probably always that one person that was like, no matter what's going on, that person is going to help you. So you always go to that person. So for example, in my family, that person would have probably been my grandma. She was always trying to help people in the neighborhood, taking them in, helping them out. So although it's a little different, I could see some of that stuff in yours as well.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that would be like the biggest difference between the biggest thing that surprised me. So I guess the next thing to talk about is how do we balance that spending time with our families, although we are from two different cultures and we handle some of those things differently. This past year, we went to Michigan for Thanksgiving. My parents moved to Honduras in October last year, so we have not spent any of the most recent holidays with them, but I know we've talked about spending some time with them. Yeah,
I mean, with her family moving back to Honduras, we'll have to figure out when we're going to make that trip. And that probably means that holiday we won't be going to Michigan. So that's going to be a challenge, but I think something we can work out. Luckily, I know we now have family and friends here in the area who we can be with for holidays, because unfortunately we can't travel for all of them. But we have my sister in the area now, and a couple of my good friends also live in the area, right around the corner actually. So that's probably what we're going to be doing for the next couple of holidays, which we did. For Christmas, we hung out with them at their new place.
Yeah, and that was fun. I think that's also where we're starting to create our own traditions in our relationship. Now that we spend our families are further out. mine being in Honduras and his being in Flint. So I think this is when we're starting to figure out, well, what are we going to start really doing for those holidays? I mean, do you think we have any?
Yeah, I was going to say our
yet?
tradition will be travel. That'll be it. It won't necessarily be a specific thing because we're, I would say, very untraditional in a lot of ways. So
non-traditional, untraditional.
You make that one up. Non-traditional.
I said non-traditional. You just say untraditional. So I'm telling you, untraditional is not a word. It's non-traditional. So if you are in a intercultural relationship, I think there are 3 things that you have to definitely keep in mind. Number 1 is to be open to the other person's culture without being judgmental. You definitely want to make sure that you're not judging and you're coming with an open mind. Number 2, don't be afraid to ask questions. There might be some things that you want to know better that the person, hasn't told you yet. So make sure that you are asking questions. JP has always asked a lot of questions, and I think that has helped him understand me and my culture.
I'm very inquisitive.
Very. What would you say? What is the 3rd one?
The last thing I would say is to make sure that whenever you're with your family, with your partner, your mate, that they're new to this situation. There are going to be things that they don't know. So don't act surprised if they're not as comfortable as you are, because this is your family. These are your traditions. This is your cultural. So keep that in mind. So when you're introducing something to that person, that you give them a better explanation so they understand. And make sure they understand, because it's going to be very important for your relationship.
Yeah, so those would be our 3 tips, and we hope that you have enjoyed today's video.
Awesome.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel below, and check us out on social media. Yeah. All of the links are below.
Or somewhere around here.
Or somewhere on this. Also, share the video with your friends and family if you enjoyed it and if you found it helpful. And if you have any questions that you would like us to answer, leave them in the comment section, and we'll be more than happy to tackle them on the next video. Oh, it's Valentine's Day on Tuesday or Wednesday. So yeah. Happy Valentine's Day if you're into that. We're probably not doing anything, but if you are, that's awesome. And before we leave, we did date night 2 weeks in a row. So what do we need Valentine's Day for? We are already winning. Bye.
Later.